with somebody if he gave you everything you wanted? You share your man with somebody if he gave you everything you wanted?
I share these men for less because they gonna go cheat anyway. So if I know for sure that he's going to give me everything I wanted, I will voluntarily share. Because we involuntarily share these men all the time. They cheat. My man probably cheating as we speak. I don't give a damn. I'm working.
Literally. Like, what I'm gonna do? Stop it?
Yeah, we don't stop. I've been cheated on. You've been cheated on. You've been cheated on. The person who watching this, the person who comment about to get cheated on. If you've been cheated on, comment.
Pastor says Christians
I do.
can be
but
polygynous.
It's not polygamy. It's called polygyny. The world does polygamy. A lot of people, the Bible doesn't speak about a man and a woman and a man, or a man and man, or woman and woman. It does speak clearly that Abraham, the father of the faith, he had wives and concubines. Jacob had 4 wives, out of which come the 12 tribes of Israel. Moses, the custodian of the law, had 3 wives. David, the king of Israel, had 18 between wives and concubines. Of course, we all know about Solomon. But it actually has laws written in the Torah, written in the law of Yah, that actually regulates and sanctions a man having more than one wife if he chooses.
You say in your book there is no history of the black man settling down with one woman,
right,
and never desiring to have another before slavery, during slavery, or after slavery. The black man has never been recorded to have just one woman.
Right. Well, I think there's some actual facts we can look at on that. Monogamy has failed for the white man in America.
But this is like saying it's okay.
It's not me saying it's okay. This is how they're living. I'm giving you the history of what their life is. Black men haven't been waiting on me to tell them it's all right to have more than one woman. Neither have white men. You know, this is just what they do. I'm not talking about fornication and adultery. I'm not talking about one-night stands and running around rampant with other women. That's not the kinds of, when I say more than one woman relationship. I mean that before we came to America, our men had more than one wife and family. And we were satisfied with it because we had not met the monogamy idea. We had not met the American white woman who, you know, insists on certain kinds of values in her man. We had not learned envy and jealousy. All right, after coming here, those kinds of ideas were bred into us because of society and the mores that the Americans made up here. And so then we started to have problems with that. But I think that since it is apparent that most of them, not all of them, it's certainly up to the man, do love more than one woman. I got tons of mail. A lot of black men write and tell me that they have had 2 women for 5, 10, 15, and 20 years, and they can't even get the women to speak to each other. Sometimes they have 2 families.
Would I want to talk to a woman who's sharing perhaps the bed and the money and the social life with who I would deem as my man?
If you want to deal in reality, and if you are not insecure, and if you don't think that that robs you of something, you would want to know them. If he loves her, you certainly should want to know her.
There are a lot of black women out there who say,
"Oh, I know they're mad about that idea. I understand, you know."
That would never hold water.
Wait a minute, that's not easy. And that's a frightening thought to most of us. And I don't like that. I'm not for that. I'm in agreement with everybody else. Our men ought to just have one woman. But that is not the reality. I'm trying to get us to deal with some reality for a change. Stop dealing with fantasy. Stop dealing with television. Stop dealing with imagination of how we wish things were. Let's deal with them how they are, what it is, present tense. And
but
if we
because
deal with
that's
that,
happening doesn't mean I have to like that or want to accept that.
No, that means that you can live in hell. That means you can live in doubt. That means that you can always be checking on your man. That means that you can be insecure and be, you know, tearful. And that means you can be disappointed when you find out the real truth. And you don't want to have that in your life. None of us do. But in order not to have that, then we have to deal with some reality and recognize that men are not limited in the way that women are. Men are able to love more than one woman. I'm not talking about, as I said, just a random sexual relationship of fornication and adultery and all of that. I mean that there are many black men who have children by more than one woman. What is to become of those children? They need their father.
But if you would cheat on me or walk out on me...
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. We have to get into definition. Who told us that was cheating? Where did that idea come from that that's cheating? And I'm not saying that a lot of men are not just running around. I'm not talking about that. But if a woman finds out that her man has been with a woman while she's been with him for 3 or 4 or 5 years, that's a serious commitment and relationship. And if it hasn't taken anything from me, if I'm not going short of anything, and if this is what he thinks his responsibility is, then what kind of hell are you going to go through to prevent that? Since we cannot stop him, we have not been successful. The white woman has not been successful in stopping the white man from having another woman. They call them a mistress. We pick up a lot of that terminology. But a man who has 2 women, that's not necessarily a mistress. That's just his other woman. Now we got 2 choices. We can be the woman or the other woman. We don't have but those 2. Now I know we don't like that. I don't like that. You know, but that's the reality of our life at some point. Now it's up to the man. But every man doesn't want 2 women, but those that do, they're going to do it.
What about our morals and our religion?
Whose religion? Whose morals? Not our religion, because we're not practicing the religion of black people anymore. That was taken from us. We don't have our morals anymore. That was taken from us. So whose idea are you representing when you stand up for those values? Not ours. Somebody else's. Some other nationality. And it may work for them. But it doesn't work for us. It hasn't worked for anybody, really, but nobody wants to deal with the truth. Monogamy was only created because of the economics of it.
The black man's handling of more than one woman is in a bad state of condition. The tenderest part of a black woman's life is the part that involves her relationship with her man. Even though she is not doing what he wants her to do, the fact that she is with him and claims to love him makes her territorial. She may go literally berserk if her man wanders for a one-night stand or develops a full-blown relationship with other women. The black woman does not understand her role in life with the black man. She can be the woman or the other woman to a black man. Both positions have their own idiosyncrasies of pro and con. It depends upon the black woman's perspective as to which position she will occupy, as she just stated in the video. She does not know that whichever position she takes does not eliminate the other position from the black man's life. She cannot bear even the thought of this. While she does not obey the rules governing her duties as a wife, she expects her man to obey all of the rules of the marriage vows or of the monogamous commitment. She refuses to accept the truth about what apparently is his nature. There is no history of the black man settling down with one woman and never desiring to have another one. Before slavery, during slavery, or after slavery, the black man has never been recorded to have just one woman. The black woman does not know that just because her man does not have another woman doesn't mean that he does not want one. He just has not found out how to do it and how to keep the peace. He knows for an actual fact that if his woman finds out or even suspects that he is interested in adding another woman to his life, she will not give him another moment of peace until he has convinced her beyond all doubt that he's either changed his mind or wasn't serious about it in the first place. She will keep him up all night if need be until he gets it straight. Since the black woman has reduced her own worth to her genitals, she also equates the black man's values to his. She has an idea that sexual intercourse has some kind of divine worth to the black man as it has to her, and that he should only reserve it for one woman, herself. The black woman seemingly is under no such interpretation and is amazed that she reacts so violently to him having another woman. He knows she is jealous. She becomes furious beyond belief and may have to be restrained physically from harming him or herself. Her first charge is that you lied to me, which is followed by, why didn't you tell me? As if his telling her would have made any difference in her reaction. Number one, he knows any difference in her reaction. Number one, he knows he has to lie because he knows she can't handle much truth about his reality of his life, much less the fact that he desires another woman, but still wants her. She calls it two-timing. She would demand all sorts of explanations, none of which appeases her distraught emotional state. Sometimes she demands the black man to tell her every sordid detail of the relationship, describe the woman, how he met her, whose idea it was, where it happened, how many times it happened, did he use protection, and she will compare dates to see if he had her on the same day or night as her. Usually the man will give her a portion of the answers to the questions. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy Monday. Welcome back to On the Shoulders of Giants. I am Joseph Ward, continuing my reading of Sister Shahrazad Ali's book, The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. And this is chapter 16, The Other Woman. And we're almost done with this book, and it's almost time to choose another. But in this chapter, she's talking about the history of the black man, but also the history of man having more than one woman. And there was a piece in the clip, if you heard it, when she said, every man hasn't had more than one woman, and every man doesn't want more than one woman. But there are a number of men who are highly desired by either one woman or more women. Right? So that man may not take advantage of his options and have more than one woman. Historically, we know men of means, men of prominence, men of celebrity, men of stature, high value men, high regarded men, whatever you want to call them. They have had access and have taken advantage of, for the most part, being with more than one woman. Kings, you name it. More than one woman. Look at the celebrities, look at the athletes, look at people throughout history, look at biblical figures, look at all. Men of means have had access and have indulged in more than one woman. So now one of the things that Shahrazad Ali is getting at in this chapter is, because remember, she started off to say that the state of the black man dealing with more than one woman is in bad shape, right? And that's because of the way the man is going about. She's explaining the way the man is going about doing his best to court or juggle more than one woman. The black man, a lot of black men are trying to do it in a sneaky way. They do it behind the women's back instead of being straight up about it. Instead of being straight up from the beginning and saying, hey, I mess with more than one woman. I've always messed with more than one woman, and I'm probably going to keep on messing with more than one woman. Is that something that you're okay with? I'm telling you up front that there will be other women in the picture. Now, they can work out the details of how that may be played out, but the object and the idea is to be upfront from the beginning, not to be sneaking around. But like the young lady said in the first clip, hey, she figures in her mind, from her reality, from her experience, that the men gonna cheat anyway, so might as well get you a man who's gonna do right while cheating. And of course, that is a number of men that she is talking about. That is a reality. But two things are true at one time. Yes, there are men who have more than one woman, have always had more than one woman, and will always have more than one woman. And there are men who won't. Right? So hopefully the women are finding men who are upfront about it. But also on the other end, what Shahrazad Ali is talking about is the programming that we have in the West, the Western programming that especially the women have. It is anti-polygyny. It is anti-having more than one woman. It is anti-sharing your man, right? It is more about the monogamous relationships, two people being together and making it happen and doing y'all thing, just y'all two, forever and ever and ever. That is the regular programming that we receive in the West about relationships. One man, one woman, y'all get together and y'all do y'all thing until y'all can't do y'all thing no more. Right? So we're all programmed like that. But us as men, we also receive alternate programmings too. We also, some of us receive programming like, hey, we know monogamy is the thing, but this is how the players do it. And depending on who taught you, they might have taught you to be sneaky. They might have taught you how to be upfront, or you may have adopted some of these behaviors where you're sneaky or upfront. It doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. Excuse me. It does matter, because that's how you approach your situation with the women that you're going to be dealing with. But Shahrazad Ali mentioned the conditioning that we receive, because black women are not down, for the most part, are not down with sharing their men. The things that the young lady was saying in that first clip, that is rare. Most women are not cool or will accept sharing a man, sharing their man, right? And so with that understanding, that's the main thing. That's one of the main things that Shahrazad Ali is trying to get men to understand in this chapter is if you have the ideas and you are a man who wants to have more than one woman, well, these are some of the things that some of the obstacles and some of the things that you might be up against. And hopefully you're upfront about what you want from the beginning, so you give the woman a choice to whether she want to deal with you or not. But if you're being sneaky about it, then you one's messing the game up. So let's get back into it. Page 156, the first paragraph. So if he tells her the whole truth, he knows that she possibly would never recover. She wants him to explain it in such a way that proves that he was seduced by this horrible other tramp of a woman, or that it only happened one time, or that she belongs to another man anyway, and it would never happen again. She wants to believe that the sexual encounter was brief, uninvolved, superficial, and consisted of only straight sex that was over in a few minutes. The intensity of her reaction is based on the magnitude of the value of places of sex. Of the value she places on sex, excuse me, let me read that again. The intensity of her reaction is based on the magnitude of the value she places on sex. If she and her man have extremely good sex, she quakes at the idea that he has done those same things to and with another woman. She is subject to wreck her entire world, no matter how long the relationship has existed, based on what her man does with his sex organ. A quagmire of examples of some of her reactions are as follows. Now, there are 14 of these reactions. I'm not going to read all 14, but I am going to read some so you can get an idea of, she's explaining some of the reactions that the black woman would have if she finds out her man is messing with another woman. So one is she will withhold the peace. This means she may catch an attitude and stop talking to him, or she may just be evil and glare. She may walk in a hostile gait or be extra fussy and complain about everything. Nag, nag, nag. She may cry and seek sympathy. During this period, the black woman will remind the black man of everything she has ever done for him. She will try to make him feel guilty and ashamed of his decidedly outrageous behavior. She will tell her friends the whole horrid story, and they will express their sympathy about her unfortunate misfortune and agree that her man is wrong, a lifelong dog, and she should leave him. 3, let the house go to hell. She may stop cleaning, ironing, washing, and cooking, and may neglect the linen, his clothes, the dishes, or do anything else that resembles a work stoppage. She goes on strike. She could retaliate by getting another man. He may be her man's best friend, worst enemy, his brother, his father, or next door neighbor. Any man who she thinks has a special value to her man is considered. This isn't what she really wants to do, but she is so out of control that she thinks this will vividly make her man understand a similar hurt. She wants at that time to cause the most lingering pain imaginable in his life. She thinks she has to do something, anything. Burn his clothes, wreck his car, trash his office, make a scene. This means all of the above and more. When inspired by jealousy, the black woman goes into a blind rage and will destroy lives and property, including her own. She is determined to vent her anger, and she wants witnesses. She must be restrained. And the last one is attack and beat up the other woman. She will investigate and seek out the other woman and attack her, or call her house and make threats and hang up on her at all hours of the day or night. She will tell everyone connected to her what a low-down man stealing or she is. She will call the other woman all kinds of vile names and make up any lie she can to make her appear to be a totally innocent person. And once again, this is Shahrazad Ali explaining a plethora of reactions that the black woman will have in finding out that her man is dealing with another woman, having sex with another woman, may have a relationship or involved in any type of way with another woman that she disapproves. These are some of the reactions that she could have, and the way she could lash out at the black man and herself. So there are many other variations of her reactions, but these are the most common ones the black man must contend with in this particular event. Sometimes he has to deal with all of them concurrently. Hell erupts. All of the above listed actions are done to get sympathy. She thinks that if she can arouse pity in the black man, he will have mercy on her and will stop whatever he is doing with the other woman. She wants to impress him, to impress him that she loves him so much that she can't live knowing that he loves another woman and is sleeping with her too. She wants her love to be enough for him, since his love is enough for her for the most part. She does not understand that he is capable of being attracted to or loving more than one woman, and because of her refusal to try to comprehend this part of his nature, he is unable to satisfactorily explain to her this undeniable fact. Amazingly, the Black woman complains, if only he had told me, or why did I, or why, what did I do? She thinks that it happened because of a shortcoming in her. Sometimes it is, but not necessarily. It is rare that a Black woman is totally surprised to find out that her Black man has another woman, because while appearing to ignore him, she studies his every move. She knows what he does, how he does it, how he dresses, what he smells like, his sleeping habits, his eating habits, his language, his ideas, his likes, his dislikes. She knows his routine, his rap, his eyes, and his desire level. She will sometimes not rock the boat of the relationship if he continues to sneak around behind her back in an acceptable manner, so as to not disturb the orderly life she thinks she has. She says, what you don't know can't hurt you. She also says, as long as I don't find out about it, or as long as he don't let me know. And so, once again, as I said in the beginning, I don't know many women, or I haven't talked to many women who are okay with their man being with her and another woman, or other women at the same time. I have talked to women who are okay with it, but for the most part, I would say the women that I've talked to that were okay with it is less than 1%. Right? So for the most part, most of the women that I've had the pleasure of talking to about situations like this and relationships like this, they're not down with it. They all say that they're not sharing their man. They don't want to share their man. And like Shahrazad Ali said, if the sex is good, she definitely don't want him to be sharing that hammer with nobody else. Right? But another thing she was getting at too is the Black woman questioning herself or wondering what she did wrong to make her man want to be with another woman. And a truth that women have to understand is it has a lot of times, for the most part, it has nothing to do with you. Like nothing to do with you. He's doing it because he can and he wants to. That's it. He's with other women because he can and he wants to. Now, there are men, especially married men, we have the statistics that show that maybe, I think like 25 to 30% of married men who are dealing with women of the night because they are in sexless marriages. So that's a whole nother different situation, right? But let's say you have the couple and they're having regular sex, but the man is messing with his woman and another woman. And the woman is questioning herself, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better? How can I be different? There's nothing that you can do on your end to make that man stop messing with other women. He's messing with other women because he can and he wants to. Just that simple. Because he can and he wants to. And only until he chooses to not do that anymore will he do it. Now, the question is he upfront with you about it from the beginning, or is he one of the ones who's going to sneak around because he wants to keep you around and still mess with the other women because he knows that you won't be down with him messing with other women? So it's just a matter of which dude do you have. Now, remember, that's not 100%, right? Just not all women, so not all men, right? So yeah, not all men want more than one woman. Some men ain't got the time for it. Some men don't want to deal with the head of hell. Some men don't want a woman, so they damn sure don't want more than one, right? So I mean, but that's just the reality of it. Shahrazad Ali, I like the historical perspective that she's taken from it, because she's showing you that this is something that men have evolved into. This is natural. This is nature, right? You're fighting nature. We are fighting nature. We are fighting nature. We have taken on another type of programming. We have taken on another type of cultural and social norms for the way that we exist, right? So in the video tomorrow that I'm going to be talking about with Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, we're talking about how white supremacists have shaped the way we exist sexually, to shape the way we have sex, shape the way we think about sex, talk about sex, all the things, shape the way we relate to each other. So it is a foreign programming that we have now currently. But that doesn't mean that in Africa, that every man in Africa had more than one woman. No, that wasn't regular old Mr. African man. Just everyday regular old Mr. African man probably didn't have more than one woman. But the exceptional man, the man of means, the man of stature, the man of celebrity, the man that got that money, it's a good chance he had more than one woman. The so-called outsider other woman is the one put exactly on point because she is confronted with the possibility that the man and his wife might break up. And if they do, he will probably land on her doorstep. And if she doesn't really want him, she's got a monumental problem, which is him. If she does want him, she may be relieved that at last it's out in the open and he'll have to choose. She knows he has been with the other woman longer, may have children and property involved, and has a financial investment in the union. So she fears that the pressure the wife will put on him will force him to cut her off. Both women become apprehensive about the outcome, and both immediately start making plans on how they will become the winner. Sometimes if both the women are shrewd, they will both become extra nice to the man. The wife at home determined to win back his affections, which she thinks she has lost, and the other woman who thinks she is in a position to compete. The woman at home may become sexier in a marathon effort to wear him out so much that he won't even have the stamina to bed down the other woman. The other woman may prep herself up to imitate the best little wife in the world to try to show him the contrast. Right? So it's a whole nother dynamic. For the most part, what I've seen is the man usually doesn't leave his wife. For the most part. I've seen situations where men do leave their wife, but for the most part, from what I've seen, the man doesn't leave his wife. Like she says, he has years invested, he may have kids and financial investments in this relationship. So it's not as easy as, I don't want to be with you no more, I'm just going to walk away. It's not that easy, right? But he may not even really want to leave his wife. He may just want both women. And if you want both women, well, now everybody got to make a decision to make. Everybody has a decision to make, especially if everybody is aware of what's going on. In the example that Shahrazad Ali gave, all three parties know what's going on. All three parties know that they exist. And now we got a decision to make. We're going to be together or we not. We're going to rock this three-way thing or we not. But she's also talking about the other woman expecting the man to leave his wife, which is common. And the man usually does not leave his wife. She's also talking about the wife fighting for her husband to stay because the wife doesn't want the husband to leave. So now the other woman has another issue because you got competition. But she also said that the woman put herself in a position now to compete. So now the man, what have you created? You created a situation. The black woman's reaction to the truth should be relief. Instead, it is turmoil and purgatory. The truth comes to shed light, not instill the darkness. The darkness of falsehood is a sensitive cloak that the black woman wears to shield herself from submitting to the black man's ideas. Another interesting aspect of this trilogy is that each black woman involved in a 2-woman, 1-man relationship or 3-woman, 1-man relationship is that they tend to be embarrassed for each other to know that they're sharing the same man. It sounds confusing because it is. In other words, it's all right for the women to know their man has another woman until women are confronted with the actual existence of each other. They may want to know, but they don't want to see. Seeing represents too much reality for them to be able to handle. They think of the other woman as a blur, no face, no body, and no personality. Once she visualizes her comp, she tears away at herself in comparisons and hallucinations of her man doing things and having fun with this other woman. Fun. So I've seen various scenarios where woman number one sees woman number two, and woman number two is nothing to look at. It's nothing great to look at. And so now she's like, oh, she ain't nothing. She ain't no competition to me. But then she's also like, well, why would my man choose that? What is it about that made my man say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and mess with this over here? But then there's another scenario I've seen where woman number one sees woman number two, and woman number two looks better than woman number one. And now the insecurities are really setting in. Because one thing that I've seen is one thing for a woman to see that a man is messing with another woman that don't really look better than her. She don't think she look better than her. You know, she got some insecurity. Don't get it twisted. The insecurities are still there. Oh, but the insecurities ain't the same when the woman look better than her. When the woman look better than her, oh, dun, dun, dun. Let the games begin. Competition. Now the fear of losing sets in. Jealousy. All those things set in. But remember, at the end of the day, dude, Buddy Rowe, you created this scenario because you wasn't real up front. Hey, men, straight up what we saying is, if you're gonna be down messing with more than one woman, be straight up from the get. Let the women know from the get what they're getting into. I guarantee you're going to find some women who's gonna be down with you messing with other women while you mess with them. I guarantee you'll find it. I guarantee you. I'm not saying you're gonna find it in abundance, but I say you will find it. And it depends on who you are as the dude, too. Who you are, what you look like, what your status is, all that stuff matters. Don't just be no regular Joe off the street talking about you're going to go have more than one woman. No, you won't. A competent black woman who is dealing with a competent black man who is dealing with a wife and another woman who is also a wife of sorts learns to tackle the situation through trial and error. He may, if lucky, eventually get upon how to handle their mental, physical, and emotional needs simultaneously. He does this separately and rarely gets mixed up. He meters out his time, takes care of any crisis that arises in either location, and may also father children in both homes. He may attend functions or go out with each woman at different times, have a complete set of friends connected with each woman. Be fond of both of their extended families, and do everything a man must do when he takes on the responsibility of two women he loves. Sometimes he is able to do this for years. Sometimes he is only able to do this for a few weeks or months before the women find out about each other. Black women like to think that their man was tricked into a relationship with another woman and does not want to believe that her man wanted another woman based on her own merit or his own need. When a black man has more than one woman for the purposes of adding more joy to his life and because he met another woman who he had needs to decide to fulfill, he must keep the woman under control by telling each of them the truth. Yes, he'll have a fight, but it will be temporary if he is first sure that both women love him. She says she wants the truth, so give it to her. But he must walk her through it so she does not become savage and unruly. She will adjust and go for more than he thinks if she knows it is her only option to continue to be with the man she loves. She is quite resilient. Now, once again, be real up front. If she likes you, you're going to get some leeway that other men won't get because she don't like them. But if she likes you and she wants to give it a chance, you might get some leeway. But you also have to find a woman who is down with her man being with more than one woman. So I got to have those conversations often and early. She has never allowed the black man to explain his need to have another woman. She chooses to believe that his need is based solely on sex. Sex is so temporary, it allows her to justify it quickly. Part of her shock is that she was convinced herself that her man has to accept what she is shoveling. Plus, the marriage license is the only legal document in America that the black woman holds the black man responsible for adhering to. She clamps down tight on the black man responsible for adhering to. She clamps down tight on the black man, whether married to him or not, because she has heard of the shortage of black men and views every single black woman as a threat to her own world. There is no shortage of black men. There's only a shortage of black men who meet the white folks' standard of availability and qualification. She readily accepts the idea of a shortage and makes her selection from the choices prescribed for her by others. She has never heard of or met a black man who stayed with one woman for the duration of his life. Yet she expects her own black man to be the first one to do so. She thinks she can change the nature of a black man through prodding, trickery, and nagging. The black man's nature is not governed or controlled by American political or social laws, including monogamy. He practices serial monogamy. He may have anywhere from 10 to upwards to 500 women in his lifetime between the ages of 14 and 75. It is rare to find an adult black man who does not have a lengthy history of being with other women, several children, and the emotional scars of those involvements. Good relationships are the result of longevity and familiarity. No man chooses to voluntarily keep changing women, right? So it is a mystery to her how the black man manages to do this. She does not even understand why he would want that kind of complication in his life. And let me say this too, before I go on further. Being able to explain, like she says, explain up front, early and often, your position. And if she accepts that position, you making sure you're able to take care of the things you are taking care of. So I know one of the first forms of polygyny or men being with more than one woman I've learned about was via Islam. You know, the man being able to have more than one woman. But it was also put that an Islamic man can have as many women as he can take care of. Right? But that's the key. Can you take care of the women in the situations that you're in? Are you creating something crazy? Or are you being straight from the get? That matters. Hammering that home because it matters. It is a mystery to her to how the black man manages to do this. She doesn't even understand why he would want that kind of complication in his life. She certainly cannot understand how her man can say he loves her and loves another woman in the same way. She thinks it must be either she thinks it must be either or. Not because of the impossibility, but because it is not what she wants, because she has been raised to be insecure and selfish. She simply cannot grasp the motivation of the black man's ego. She does not know the origin of his love or the definition of it. And she did not get this way by herself. Her own strong influence managed to infect the black man with her ideas and force him to start an infertile history of lying to her and pretending to play by the rules she designated. Her idea has not made for success for him or her. She has pushed the issue that her relationship's peace with him is based solely on his fidelity. She uses her instructions to support her in her position. She does not know what the author of these instructions are, but she obeys and memorizes them just as the same. Some of the slogan's instructions are: 1, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. 2, I can do bad by myself. 3, all is fair in love and war. 4, all good things must come to an end. 5, use what you got to get what you want. 6, there ain't nothing a man can do for me that I can't do for myself. I hear that a lot. 7, here today, gone tomorrow. 8, no romance without finance. No romance without finance. 9, it's easier to forgive than to forget. 10, out of sight, out of mind. 11, fake it till you make it. 12, absence make the heart grow fonder. 13, never put all your eggs in one basket. 14, all fair in love and war. 15, never let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. On examination, there are some of the most popular sayings of the day. They seem harmless enough. They have been passed down from one generation to the next. They are sets of words that need no explanation when applied to a relationship between a man and a woman. They have endured and proved and provided people with catch-all responses and attitudes. These slogans have done more to support the Black woman in her disagreement with the Black man than any other memorized text. So it's us not understanding each other further, not being truthful, and us not understanding each other, us not understanding our socialization. We've been socialized to exist one way, while nature insists, or nature comes out in another way. It is not natural. She's saying it's not natural for men or even the Black man to be with one woman solely for the rest of his life. But it's what we've been socialized into. So it's what's going to win, nature or nurture? That's where we at on this, nature versus nurture. Another area of confusion she participates in is the difference between what an affair is and what a relationship is. An affair is exactly what it suggests: a temporary happening, something attended, a thing to do, an event. In more precise terms, an affair is strictly an episode for many episodes of sex without responsibility or fornication. Adultery, on the other hand, is sex expressed when one is not sure of one's womanhood or manhood. Adultery is sex used as a proving ground to try to convince self of capability and usefulness. A relationship is a union of a man and a woman where they are responsible for each other, not necessarily financially, but emotionally, mentally, physically, and physically. A relationship is grounded in reality. Life situations are met with the discussions and compassion, and there is demonstrated caring, involvement, and consideration. Certainly, a real relationship presents more challenges than a fun-filled frolic in the lamented affair. Affairs are easier, less complicated, and represent immaturity, cowardice, and lust, raw passion with no real potential for love. It is a limited engagement that dies when the passion burns out or becomes impossible to satisfy. A relationship is unlimited, fruitful, educational, and filled with daily excitement. It is usefulness. It is unselfishness. It is the most desirable form between a man and a woman. The Black woman and the Black man must get past the stage of becoming addicted to sex, the possibility of sex, and the temporary euphoria of genital to genital contact. Yes, sex is big fun, but it is bigger fun when there's commitment and full knowledge of the other person, far greater than face value and physical compatibility. To be selective of a mate is not being approved. It is being mature, intelligent, and considerate. The Black woman must choose her man, accept her lot, and work to make him happy and be satisfied with her choice. There is no perfect choice among Black women. There's no perfect choices among Black men. But all of the choices are potentially acceptable, workable, and capable of allowing both parties to have a measure of happiness and security. Things are only right to a certain extent that the Black woman must work to achieve the fullest extent of happiness and satisfaction available to her. It is whatever she makes of it. There it is. And so that is pages 154 to 165. So there will always be situations in relationships where men and women, but particularly we're focusing on men for this, that where men will deal with more than one woman. It's how he deals with those situations and how the programming of both he and the woman he's trying to deal with, how that exists. You can want what you want, but you can't force somebody to want what you want. I like the way she ended the chapter talking about maturity, talking about relationships and the pros of relationships, the things that relationships can bring, right? She's talking about, she said, to be selective of a mate is not being approved, it is being mature, intelligent, and considerate. The Black woman must choose her man, accept her lot, and work to make him happy and be satisfied with her choice. Yes, sex is big fun, But it's bigger fun when there is commitment and full knowledge of the other person, far greater than face value and physical compatibility. We're not gonna spend most of our time having sex with each other. We're going to spend most of our time relating to each other, talking to each other, being around with each other, hanging out, getting to know each other, learning each other, all these different things. And if I don't like you and want to be around you, this ain't going to work. Sex won't keep us. So we have to make sure that we're choosing to be with people that we like to be around, that is making us better, that is adding to us, that is pouring into us, that are positive people, that are healthy people, that are the right people, choosing the best people for us, and not just choosing, but also understanding nature, reality, the nature and reality, right? Understand our conditioning is fighting against nature, and understand a reality you could be existing in is you be with a man who is with you and another woman. So is that something you're willing to deal with? That's something you can handle? If not, that ain't the man for you. But a reality is you might do me the dude that's down with having more than one woman, and you know what you're gonna do about it. Hopefully he's mature enough to be upfront about what he wants and won't be lying to you and taking you through the ringer and mess around behind your back. Because nowadays, it's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. It's a lot of stuff. So let's be mature. Let's be adult. Let's get these relationships back on track. We need Black families. We need Black love. We need Black relationships. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Comment. Share. I love y'all. Make sure y'all catch the next video coming up.